Hello YouTube, this is HiBoMan here, and welcome to a brand new episode of Primetime Reviews. I don't think it's a secret to anybody that the Transformers Prime toy line was excellent. I was expecting to like it when it first came out, and it pretty much completely blew me away. It's jumped into my top 2 favorite Transformers toy franchises ever. I'm not sure if it's my number 2 or if it's tied for number 2 right now with Energon. Energon has a lot of my favorite toys in it, but as a toy line, I think Prime beats it out. It's just got more, toys per square foot that are good compared to the Energon toy line, which had more toys in it, I think, in terms of, big ones, not just Legends and Minicons and all that, but just regular big toys that were kind of on the side of things, whereas Prime was pretty consistently good throughout, and that's sort of a hard comparison to make, but I figured since I love it so much, and you probably love it so much, we should give Transformers Prime its own little spotlight in Primetime Reviews, and this is Transformers Prime Optimus Prime, the Cyberverse Commander version. So this is the original Cyberverse Commander Optimus Prime, because I know it's an Optimus Prime toy. The line had to abuse the poor guy and make as many versions of him as possible, but this is the original one, based on his original long-nosed truck vehicle mode. And this is one of the ones that I picked up, like the Legends, Cyberverse Legends, I don't know what they're called anymore, like the other Cyberverse Megatron, and like the Cyberverse Starscream that I've already reviewed, sort of as placeholders. Prime stuff was a little bit slow coming out where I was. I was in the middle of sort of moving around, heading off to school, all that, and picking up these little guys was a great way to get a feel for what the line was going to be like, and honestly, they were great placeholders. In the case of that little Megatron that I already reviewed, he's actually still holding the place of being a Prime Megatron. I have not bothered to track down any others, except the Sharkticon Megatron, but we'll get into that some other time. That's one I want to review eventually, but this is all about Optimus Prime, so let's talk about him already. This is his long-nosed truck vehicle mode, and you can see this is pretty well done given how small it is. You've got nice translucent blue windows here, nice silver grille on the front with an Autobot symbol molded in. There's no actual symbol there, but you can see it's supposed to be the emblem. Silver around here, you've got the wind vane here, silver smokestacks, trailer hitch in the back, and it's pretty clean all around. You can see, like if those are his hands, then those are sticking out. You can see joints in here, although it's not entirely obvious that these are his arms. His head is pretty obvious back here because it's dark blue compared to all this light blue. But, it's a little Legends toy. The idea is that it's supposed to be small and represent the character accurately, and that's what it is doing. He comes with 2 weapons, both translucent blue. I don't know if that ever really extended beyond the first set of Prime stuff, this whole translucent plastic thing. I know all the original Legion toys came with translucent weapons like this because they were supposed to work with those playset things. I know there was Knockout with the big Decepticon drill vehicle. I don't even know what was supposed to happen with those, but apparently they had LED wires that were supposed to attach to the toys and light up all the internal light piping plastic they had going on. But anyway, that's why these are translucent. You can see these are very well molded representations of his guns from the show, and he's got 2 of them, meaning this is the only Optimus Prime that comes with 2 of his guns, which is actually more accurate to the show than a lot of the other toys. If you wanted 2 of those guns to be completely accurate to the show, you would have had to buy 2 first edition Optimus Primes to double up on the weapons. So these things have their advantages. I mentioned in my review of Megatron that he was the only one out of any Megatron toy, and that's still true, that came out with the proper sword. So there's advantages to these guys beyond just they're cheaper. So that's about it for his vehicle mode. He does roll very well, even on a sheet, he still rolls well. And let's get him transformed. These smokestacks just kind of get out of the way. There's really no harm in leaving them wherever. It's just more of a preference thing about where they go in vehicle versus robot mode. I'm going to be careful with his arms here. This ball joint on here has gotten pretty loose, and most of the time I try transforming him, that arm pops off. And if it does pop off, then I apologize, because these are tabbed in underneath where the windshield connects, and they're also tabbed in here, so a lot of times pulling on this yanks off the whole arm. Once those are free, we can start folding down his legs. They come in 2 chunks, so they're going to connect here in the front, but first, if you come around to the back, things are pegged together up by the trailer hitch. I don't know if you can see it, but there's one of these pegs that goes in here, and it's one of those that's much easier to slide in and out than it is to push it in and then pull it apart. Every time I've tried pulling this apart, I've been terrified I'm going to break the thing, so just a quick slide is good. The fronts of his legs also pop apart, and they click together down here. We can straighten out his torso here. It's weird that this is on a ball joint, given that it looks like it would have a waist swivel there, but there are tabs that slot in here to sort of hold this all together. Fold out his feet from the front. Position his arms here. Now this is a really cool part. The windbreaker, wind vane up here actually splits on a hinge and on a ball joint to become his shoulder pads. And because of all those extra joints, they actually will move with his arms. And then last step, flip up the head and spin it around. And here we have little Cyberverse, Legend, Commander class, whatever, Optimus Prime from Transformers Prime. As you can see, he's not entirely 100% accurate to the show, but you know, given that this is just supposed to be a mini version of him, he gets a lot of stuff right. You can see on the head here, his entire face is pretty much painted silver, but you can still see the eyes, the mouth plate, the head crest that's new to this version of Optimus Prime. You can see he's got his shoulder pads, which is a really cool touch. That's probably my favorite bit on this whole toy, because look, they do turn with his arms, which is actually totally didn't realize that they could turn all the way with his arms before, because they're jointed on the same ball joint with his shoulders. That is awesome. He's got outward shoulder movement here. He's got the internal ball joint, ball jointed elbow. This is the one I'm afraid is going to pop off. Like I said, he has a ball joint in this torso piece, but you can see it's kind of a torso / waist joint. He's got ball jointed hips, nice silver on these thigh pieces as well. He's got knees that bend 90 degrees in both directions if you need that. And then his feet can tilt a little bit down, but mostly up. And again, nice silver paint on the inside. This guy does a really good job of having balanced colors, considering that, you know, he's small and made of a bunch of little pieces that you wouldn't think would have a lot of paint on them, but I guess the smaller size means you can focus more on the important details. As you can see, even though his head is all solid, he still manages to get in some light piping because of all this translucent light blue plastic sort of cutting through his windows here. And you can see if we plug his guns on, they envelop his hands properly, like they would in the show. Now, to be honest, the grip on these is kind of loose. I'm sure this just varies from figure to figure, but it's sort of a shaky thing. You can get him holding them, he looks good with them, you can pose with them, but you can drop them just as easily. He has a few different pegs and ports on here, so we can hold them sort of more like traditional guns if you want to flip them around. You can plug them into different holes on his body if you want to store these on his shoulders or whatever. None of the places they plug in vehicle mode are either sturdy, meaning I couldn't show them to you because they'd fall off, or the ones that are sturdy don't look any good, and even those aren't that sturdy, they're just more sturdy. Like I mentioned before, this guy is apparently supposed to work with that LED light piping gimmick with the playsets. If you can see this peg right here, I'm pretty sure this, or maybe these like turbine looking things in his shoulders, something in here is supposed to peg into a light source from the bigger playsets. And again, I don't know if they made any more besides the knockout drill tank, whatever that was, and I'm sure Bumblebee got one. Or maybe it was, no, it was Wheeljack with the jackhammer, his spaceship. I think those were the two, and then maybe Sideswipe came with one later, I don't know. But anyway, that gimmick was kind of aborted, but it's cool to have little toys that are light piped up. I'm going to cut, we're going to go to the group shot, which I have to go back to my other videos to make sure I get all the right primes included, but this is another episode of a Primetime Review with Transformers Prime Cyberverse Commander Class Optimus Prime. I am Hyboman, signing off. Alright, and here we are at another group shot. 3 episodes of Primetime Reviews down, 3 Optimus Primes standing before you. This isn't going to be done in a regular location from now through the next couple Primetime Reviews episodes. I am working to get a permanent Optimus Prime shelf set up. When that is done, when that is ready, that's where they will be taking place from that point forward. We will add a new Optimus Prime to the shelf every time. They won't have to move, I won't have to repose them, won't have to rearrange them at all, and it will be great. So, that's episode 3 down. Stay tuned for the next one. This is Highball Man here, signing off. Thank you for watching.